So, a typical trick of white supremacy is using words like this one, honorary whites, in order to highlight proximity to whiteness. This term, which was used in South Africa, was for the Asian community. It was, you're not quite a white person, but you're not quite a black person either. So let's read this. Honorary whites was a political term that was used by the apartheid regime of South Africa to grant some of the rights and privileges of whites to those who would otherwise have been treated as non whites under the Population Registration Act. It was enacted by then ruling National Party. This designation was made on the case by case basis as the underlying intent was utilized to select individuals within the context of variation of various circumstances, such as competitive sporting events and diplomatic exchanges. The term was also applied towards certain racial groups, most notably East Asians, who were ascribed as honorary whites. Such examples included the Japanese, Koreans, Hong Kongers, Taiwanese, honorary white status, and later the local Chinese community of South Africa. Individually designated figures of various other races were added as well. So, for those of you that don't know, this is almost the same as the model minority thing, except this one was like a political term. It wasn't something that is just like a kind of compliment, I guess. This is something that was used, and this is typical in nations that are like this. Now, even in the Middle East, this tends to be the case, right? Like the paler skin East Asians will get better treatment than the darker skin black people or darker skin Asians. The terms are different. The skill thought is different, like how they evaluate what we're capable of. All of that is just vastly different. It's not that Asians don't get stereotypes, it's not that they don't get racism. It's just that they have to feel above black people in order for them to operate in a society. So I want to watch this video so we can get that context before we start.
I'll put you guys onto a little secret, and it's that Asian people don't like blacks.
So before he starts, obviously not every single Asian doesn't like black people, and obviously there's a gradient to it, how much tolerance they have. Whatever. I guess that's the only word I can use in this circumstance. And also, we have to be very careful about what we mean by that, because there's a difference in Asian Americans and then Asians in East Asia, in which some of the countries really don't even have an opinion on black people because they have no experience with black people.
Now, is it because during the whole BLM thing, Asian people were getting beat up, they're getting robbed only by black people?
So if you look in the last 10 years or the last 15 or 20 years, you can pick whatever interval of time, there is a large amount of people from just about any race who attacked Asian people. During the thing that happened in the last, starting from 2020, there was a rise in attack of Asians in Russia, UK, India, those countries. Basically, there was an attack. But this is a video of a Latina, that's what they say in this news thing, who attacked Asians simply because they were Asian.
She went after them because of her race. It was a brief appearance in court. 20-year-old Maria Garate is accused of going into a Walmart on Tuesday to hunt down Asians.
By the way, there's a ton of videos like that. I actually remember seeing a video, and I had to do a little bit of research of this a long time ago, but I remember seeing a video of this Hispanic woman who saw this Asian guy who was clearly bewildered, and she was like, "Where you from?" to the random Asian guy, and then the guy was just like, "Oh, I'm from down the street," and then she started shouting her gang to this Asian guy, and she started saying racist stuff to him. And when you do research, you realize a lot of groups around the world don't like Asians. Now, I'm not saying they like them less than they like black people. Obviously, black people are considered lower than all of these people, but this idea that only black people came after them doesn't even make any sense. By the way, the majority of run-ins, which they're black versus Asian, in other words, a black person attacking an Asian person, most of it is like, it's not racial. It's pure crime. A lot of the other groups, there's a racial component to it. Now, I'm not saying there's no racial component to it with some black people. There definitely is.
And if you look at the statistics, white people hate Asian the most based on crime, but everyone knows that is not true.
So I actually remember when this event happened. I think she was in Germany. This Twitch streamer was in Germany. And basically in Germany, they don't mind doing racism towards Asians. And well, not the whole country, but a few people. I don't know how many people, but they kept doing it everywhere she went. So what this person is trying to sell us here is that black people are more racist towards Asians than white people are, which is not true, especially if you go to countries that have a lot more white people. Remember the countries that we said IShowSpeed can't go to because there's so many white people that there would obviously be racism. Those same countries, there would be the same level of race, well, not the same level, but there would be some racism for Asian people. This myth that these people have in their head that, black people hate Asians more than anybody, it's not even a fact. And by the way, any attack on Asians, these people, that guy, half the videos that he's going to put on, it's going to be some black person attacking an Asian, and then he's going to put it as a racial attack. But that's not a racial attack just because it's a person of a different race. Now, I want you to keep in mind that this is another different person than the previous one. And I don't know what type of introduction this is. I actually don't get how these guys do this just randomly. Now, here's another demonstration that no matter how close you are proximity-wise to whiteness, they will never like you because their ideologies don't come close to who you are. And yes, that guy did do a salute. I would play the audio, but he literally said Heil, and then he said a name that you're not allowed to say online. And the reason he said that was because it's an Asian person on camera.
There are even movies that represent the tension between both races, buddy cop movies. There are the Asian people that follow the black people in the corner store because they believe they're going to steal. This tension has...
Rush Hour is such a good movie. Anyway, yeah, obviously that part is true, that a lot of it's not just Asians, there's Indians and all these other people who follow people around the store. I would say it's less so in countries that have a ubiquity of black people, because I've shown you the videos of like Chinese people. Remember that video I made when the guy said, "All Nigerians parasites," and I showed you how many Chinese people operate in South Africa and literally get arrested. So a lot of Asians, when they come to Africa, they don't have this mindset that they're criminals, because I'll just leave it there. Let's just say they don't see themselves as the victims in a lot of situations. So the sort of Asian American is very different than like Asians in Africa, Asians in Madagascar, Asians, and they're not, the stereotype of timid or any of that stuff.
existed for quite some time. And the reason why it exists is because there is this ideal immigrant status that Asians hold as like the richest race in America, and we're constantly being compared against each other, the smartest, the poorest.
In the same way that the word honorary whites was invented, the model minority was invented not because they actually wanted to honor these people, but it's another way to slap back at Black Africans in a way of like, look, they're doing it. And it's, you know, very disrespectful. And if a lot of people from that race realize that that's what's really happening, when they say model minority, model versus who?
If you're Asian and anyone says anything like that in a way to disrespect you, you must punch them in the face. You have to stand up for yourself, and you can't let these things slide.
What makes us a good victim and what people don't understand is that we are taught culturally to shut the f, put your head down and work in silence. And it's this idea of we do not need to get that immediate pleasure of trying to get someone back, because we know later down the line it would be inevitable that we become more successful.
Whenever someone says Asian culture and then they talk about Asian Americans and all that other stuff, you have to sometimes be careful, because the culture of Asian Americans in America has changed dramatically over the decades. And also you have to think about Asians around the world and that they have completely different cultures. Like I mentioned, like some places in China, you know, and then some other people are like friendly, whatever, and then some others less so. You have to be, these stereotypings of themselves is one of those things where you go, I don't know what's happening. A lot of the opportunities, we'll talk about that. A lot of the opportunities that are being afforded is because of the sacrifices of African Americans, which made it easier for them to rise in ranks in America because they made the certain sacrifice. But, you know, we'll talk about that soon. Let's first finish this video.
And this isn't some master plan where, oh yeah, we're gonna be more successful. No, it's a real problem ingrained into Asian culture where everyone is too timid, too passive, where it invites a lot of mischievousness from bad faith people because we won't do anything about it. Why do anything in the short term? But
yeah, this is stereotyping. They are people. I'm in South Africa. I know for a fact there's some Asians that you don't want to mess with. Like, you do not want to start anything with. You don't want to rob them. You don't want to do anything with. They will stab you fast.
Long term, it creates a lot of animosity towards the group that attacks us the most.
Been in London for 5 hours and I just got my chain snatched and I got decked in the face. London, is this normal? Is this the London experience I've been told about? I literally got off the metro, had Nando's, and now we're in Soho.
Now, this was a pretty big deal when it happened, and he was even invited on the UK version of the Fox News to push anti-immigration propaganda, anti-black, brown people propaganda, and one of the coolest things about this guy is that he did not fold. He did not fold, he trolled them the entire time.
They push now.
Well, leave it to Fox News to turn a random incident into a racial thing. Remember what I said before? Any crime that is done by a black person on an Asian person, they're going to say it's Asian hate. When literally the other ones, they literally say, like, I'm coming after them because they are this group.
Asked the agendas constantly, and I was very familiar with their game. When they asked me, Eric, what does this person look like? I gave a description, and they were like, no. Like, what color was he?
I'd say he was about, what did the Brits say? 178 centimeter, I think, about there.
Was he black, white?
And I was like, oh, this is where it's going now.
He was I'm unsure. You know, it was a bit dark. He wasn't the palest, but he wasn't the darkest.
That was so funny.
If that's real, that's kind of crazy. That I didn't miss that one. I didn't even know that happened. By the way, yes, I do sometimes just sit down and watch what type of thing they're going to try to spin into racism next. Especially, remember, it's always racist when it comes from black people, but then white people, apparently racism is over and we should move on and it never happens. But then there's also simultaneously an invasion of Europe based on race, but racism is over and we need to move on.
So maybe the statistic all along about white people committing hate crimes on Asians was true all along. He was in London. Well, the person might have been Somalian, they might have been brown, but they were most definitely of the darker skin tone. And
they were a brown person, most likely either Afghan or Somali. I have no problem saying that. However, I do have a problem saying it when you are using it to attack the entire group of people as a whole.
If you haven't
Well, that's good, because I could show you videos of North Africans attacking Somali women, impregnating them forcefully, and then throwing them back into Somalia and doing all kinds of crazy things. But are we going to then say all of them act like that, including those in America and stuff like that? Like, that's the thing, though. I think if you live in a specific country and you don't check what's going on around the world, you're going to have a very different view of what people are capable. Like this idea of like Asians being calm and never attacking people and stuff like that. It's like, have you ever seen that video in India where like some guy tries to grope one of the Chinese women or Japanese person? The guy starts beating him up around a whole group of Indians.
这刚才那杯柠檬水，这不可能让他放玛莎拉的。哎呦呦呦
What are you doing? No. What are you doing?
Anyway, back to the video.
Caught on this entire video is a goddamn lie. Most Asian people actually love black people. Maybe they love them a bit too much, to the point where they have this false sense of reality.
Stop.
So this is a lie, this idea that Asians love black people too much. Obviously, they do in some cases copy the culture of black, especially black Americans, but of black people in general. But that's not the same as loving somebody. Now, would I say most of them are indifferent or are not racist in the way that like a suit per person is? Maybe, but there's a difference between that and love.
Using black people as a gotcha against Asians. Whenever Asians talk about hate crimes or fetishization, which are acts of blatant white supremacy, someone's always like, oh, but it was black people who committed the most crimes against Asians. Actually, no, statistically, you're just wrong.
I think Asians are the most annoying people to deal with because they have this whole stereotype of, oh, you're super smart. So they always lean towards statistics.
Wow, that was just pure racism against Asians. So the reason why she's bringing up a statistic is because she's Asian?
But fun fact, there are more white people in jails than black people. But also, guess what? Mexicans, black people, they're also known for being misidentified as the wrong race for whatever political reason. And
white people make up the majority of the federal prison population in the United States of America. And this was from last week. Numbers don't lie. Check the scoreboard.
Take a look at this. This is actually insane. An Ohio correction center labels these inmates as white. But
I'm actually confused about what his point is, so I'm just going to wait for him to get to it before I play a completely different video.
But anyone with eyes can see that that's not accurate. And this isn't an isolated incident here. I mean, there are plenty more examples just like this one. This is exactly how crime statistics get distorted. This is how narratives are built on false reporting. When institutions misclassify offenders, the numbers don't reflect reality. They skew crime data against the white Americans and mislead the public.
I say this in all my videos, but people who like to seem more intelligent rely on big fancy words. Fingers crossed that you don't understand what's actually being said. And it's the
what big words did she use and what she was saying? If that's true, by the way, I can't confirm what you're saying, but if it's true, that's kind of crazy to classify people as white when they're clearly like black or Hispanic or Asian or anything else, really.
Same thing with people who use statistics. They can't think for themselves, so they either regurgitate a bunch of quotes that they have thought or heard of before, or they overly rely on statistics to just prove a point, not to actually reflect and analyze what's being said.
So what should we rely on? if we don't rely on statistics. So let's start with a couple things here. Let's say you have 1 million people. Forget 1 billion or 300 million or 400 million. Let's say you have 1 million people, and you heard that one of the people in your group has done a crime that, removes people from this universe, and you wanted to calculate how many of them did that. What else could you go with besides statistics? Are you going to go and figure out one by one, or are you just going to make it up? I don't understand the mentality here. I think it's because the statistics aren't leaning towards what he wants them to lean to.
Review of anti-Asian hate incidents published by Dr. Janelle Wong from the University of Maryland. It goes on to say that the majority of perpetrators in anti-Asian hate crimes and hate incidents were white.
Well, I'm shocked. Most black people have no reason to attack Asians simply for being Asian. How's that going to advance anything? Remember, within the white communities, there is a political agenda that's thought to be advantageous to them to attack people of their race. Now, they do try and sell that off to black people, give them a secondhand thing, and in the same way that they call these Asians honorary whites, they do try to sell them that idea. But most black people don't fall for this separationist thing so that they can play this game, which, by the way, some people are very unaware. I didn't realize how unaware some people are that white supremacists want you to fight with other people who are black or outside of the white community.
You can read that paper here.
So we finally developed the fact that if you even search up on TikTok Asian hate, guess who pops up? It's Asian people and black people. That's the only thing that pops up. And why is that? Because
those are the two groups that are concerned about Asian hate. If you wrote something else, if you wrote a different word that starts with a C, then you're going to see more white people.
All right, though.
Because white people doesn't
So
do like this.
White people don't do this.
Huh?
Too bad I'm not white. I'm a
Maybe something
nigga.
wrong. Yeah.
I'm a nigga.
And now that they're breeding and living all this lavish lifestyle through all their hard work, they're the richest race, remember? There are a bunch of Gen Z stupid an Asian guy liking to pretend that, oh no guys, everyone's equal. I don't like.
That's your worst impression of him, is that he's saying that he thinks that everyone is equal? Is that the worst thing you can say about the guy? If it is, then he sounds like a great guy.
Getting extremely political, but why does Japan hate a bunch of immigrants? All right, why do people not like Jews?
Yep, he just threw Jews out in there for no reason. I don't understand what's going on in this whole entire rant that's going on here.
Africans moving substance in the streets, to Europeans trashing the streets, Japan is being disrespected by other cultures. And the Japanese people are watching their own culture dissolve due to open borders and immigration.
So you guys can interpret this information however you will, but a mixed reaction of Japanese people, maybe like Trump, maybe they don't. But if you watch a bunch of videos, Japanese people love Trump. They even have Trump little rallies in Japan. Like, what the fuck? Not even running for president there.
Came all the way from Japan for the Trump rally.
Passport is sightseeing, but actually this way we are attending Trump rally.
That must be the honorary whites attending that rally. I don't know. I don't know how they actually feel about it. I don't know how Japanese people feel about Trump. I've never actually looked too deep into it. I'm gonna guess, since they're a democratic country who is somewhat under America, even though they'll never admit it, they probably have a reason not to hate America.
But same idea, Japanese people do not like immigrants. And why is that? Well, if you really think about it, nobody would have a problem with immigration if they were PhD doctors, Elon Musk coming in. It's like, please come to our country. But that's...
Yeah, believe it or not, doctors, PhD, and especially people like Elon Musk, they also do crimes. Did you know that? And they can also destroy a country. Did you know that? I wonder, by the way, how many of the people who are in the Epstein files actually did go and live in Japan for a while.
Not the case. It's a bunch of that don't even understand or care to learn for the language, the culture. All they're doing is degrading everything and at the same time getting money from welfare, taxpayers. Who loses in that situation?
I actually remember a video of Andrew Yang saying that most Asians don't participate in politics, and that, well, not most, but they participate the least in politics compared to all the other races. And now I'm like, I think there's one more that probably shouldn't participate because this opinion is foul.
Incentive to.
Pity is another form of domination.
Nietzsche argues that pity is a weapon used against the weak. When the powerful display pity, which is Asian people, the top of the American food chain, they're unconsciously communicating that I am better than you. I feel bad for you. When we look at weak people.
So now he's calling us weak. Here we go. By the way, I love how his whole thing is trying to be whatever he's trying to be, but his whole thing was, let's ignore statistics. So the people that you're claiming are having pity are looking at statistics. Meanwhile, you were claiming that all Asians are like super smart. Oh, it's so weird.
It is seen as humble, suffering, compassion. It's seen as higher virtues. This is what you want to be. But in reality, that is not what powerful, strong people do. Look at every single athlete. They are prideful, they are dominant, they are self-asserting, and that is seen as bad things. And this is where things get confusing.
Well, I mean, look at all the people who do talk about sports. I mean, look at Mike Tyson and how he talks about the stuff that gets you to dominate in sport. They don't really work in life, and that you do need to be humble. You do need to be all of these things in real life in order to be able to operate. Because if you have the same competition spirit with normal people, you're going to lose.
Because should I be all humble, act like a pussy, and love everyone, or admit that black people target Asian people more despite the statistics and just stop pretending you're better than everyone else?
Yeah, so people being objective is people being whatever word you used. All of this is just so, it's misguided. And if this person is real, you know, there's always a chance that this is AI. But if this person is real, what he's saying is very foul.
I used to work as a college tutor, then I transitioned into a private tutor. So on my second channel, I'm teaching about how I learn and analysis of philosophers and more. Check it out.
Which philosophers got you to this point so that I can make sure I never read them?
I'm not from London, I'm from England. The other end of London.
So if you're gonna film him, you better give him money, support the artist of music.
How about don't tell me what the fuck to do?
Dude, look at her face and how surprised she is in the back. And this is the point, right? I am morally better than you. And that's something people.
Okay, so I'm going to stop the video. He basically takes a small incident that happens and he tries to blow it up into something way bigger. This can't be the last piece of his video.
People do on the sly, and you have to recognize it.
Jesus, man, you give him money for so helpful. Yeah, you better give him money. Get that Chinese money out, mate.
Oh, so he doesn't recognize that racism right there? He said, get that Chinese money out. You don't recognize that one? Is it because he's not a black guy, so it's perfectly okay for him to say that? I'm starting to get the feeling this guy doesn't like Asians either.
Well done, oh, she's eager. She's an eager beaver. She's an eager beaver, this one. You don't have to approve of
change just in case. Why are you like Venmo, Cash App, Zelle?
What?
This guy's bored. This guy is bored.
What are you talking about? She said that if I film you, do I have to pay you?
mean, you should.
It's up to you.
Oh, exactly. That's what I thought. Like, it's America, you know? Like, we have a yeah, exactly.
No,
Thank
I'm just
you.
saying you should.
See, even he's on my side, so you just made yourself look
Oh, yeah, she's just giving you an opinion.
Yeah, exactly. His opinion.
Now, again, this is the internet, so I don't know if this is fake or not, but taking it as if it's like a real video, don't you hate people who want to start debates with strangers in public? Also, why is that other guy taking up sides? The guy should shut up and take his money.
It doesn't need to be heard, you know what I mean? Everyone has their own.
Interpret this however you will, but me personally, whenever people give pity for me, I always think, okay, why are you doing this to me? Why do you feel good in giving me pity? Because most of the time, pity is not a way to help other people, but to make yourself feel morally superior. That's why this woman is so eager to give money to others.
That's like the strangest way to justify being a cruel person. Like, oh no, everybody else is being mean by being nice. I'm the good one because I refuse to be nice to people.
Was to prove a point that I am better than you. And it's the same thing with Asian people defending black people and their crimes. It's because I'm better than you. I know statistics. I'll be honest, I don't know what she's saying, but supposedly it's about black on Asian violence, and here's the truth.
If you don't know what the hell she's talking about, why did you even play the video? What the hell?
This video is not saying that black, absolutely not. It's this continual lie to myself and every other person that, yeah, there is nothing going on between both races, but very evidently that is not the case. And that's not how you overcome a problem, to pretend like it doesn't exist.
So again, that's a straw man. You're just pretending that people pretend that it doesn't exist. We know that it exists. It's just not in the numbers that you'd like it to be.
Weak people have this weird audacity to pretend that there isn't a problem, and that's what makes the cycle complete, where good times create fuck. People will assume this is a political video, but absolutely not. Politics is gesture. It is a psychology philosophy video.
Oh, I see. People are gonna think that it's a political video. It's not a political video. Is that why you brought up Donald Trump and immigrants and at some point the Jews? Is that all just philosophy? Is it? That's not politics. If you're going to come up with these opinions, at least stand by them. Don't run away and try to hide behind philosophy. By the way, you do know that philosophical statements can be racist and terrible and all the other stuff as well, right?
People use pity as a weapon against the weak, and the weak just eat it up. Just give it to me, man. Just give it to me. But realistically, are you weak? Are you gonna let someone give pity onto you? Do you deserve it? Do you want pity? I certainly don't. What about you? Don't know. I don't know who you are. But
so I was going to add another video here, but I'm 100% certain that this video is getting demonetized. There's no way in hell they're going to let this one through. But we'll just put it out there. I'll put a little bit of what I was going to play.
What's going on, everybody? This Afro Think Tank. Today, I want to talk about the Asian community. I guess more importantly, the American Asian community. You know, on the local level and African-American community relationships and the overall global Asian and African relationship. Because I see that currently Asian people, right, who, because they supported white folks, they supported Donald Trump. Some of them did. No, some of them did. They didn't all really, they were kind of like in the middle, right?
Anyway, if you want to see me react to this video, yeah, like, share, subscribe, all that other stuff.
But for the most part, there were some things that they supported that they didn't realize was against them, right? And it was, and it hurt us. It didn't really hurt us. It seemed like they were trying to hurt us, but in actuality, they thought they were going for something fair, and they just find out. They're in the find out phase.
Well, that happens all the time. Again, with people who try to attack black people from all angles. There is a controversial video I just put up. And yeah,
Now they're finding out. And the thing is, after you find out, you got to do something about it. It's like, okay, right? I made the decision. I found out, now dealt with the consequences of those actions. They're currently dealing with that now. And I think what it is when we try to explain to them white supremacy and racism from an American perspective, they didn't understand it. And I understand they didn't understand it. And the only reason I understand that they didn't understand it is because I'm quite familiar with how Asian people operate.
Okay, I'm leaving for real this time. Thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe. I'm going to watch that video next.